Hello, San Francisco, and welcome once again to the Angelic Troublemakers. I'm your host, Alan Jones, and on today's program, Alan, you crazy. San Francisco is not racist. I'm bringing you this program this week based on uh, the abrupt resignation of the head or the director of the San Francisco Department of Public Health this week. I read the initial article about Deborah Garcia, excuse me, Barbara Garcia, who was the director of Department of Public Health for quite some time, maybe, I don't know how long. And in reading the article and the things that they were pointing out in the article, it just didn't make any sense to me. So I sent off a bunch of accusatory emails to the San Francisco Chronicle and some of their columnists and reporters, and even a few at the San Francisco Examiner, saying that they were covering up the real reason why she was fired or resigned. So then the next day, we get another story. And it was about why this Barbara Garcia abruptly resigned from her position. $340,000 with benefits a year position. She abruptly resigned. Well, as it turns out, she resigned because there was a conflict of interest issue and allegations of, doing something illegal with city contracts. And though it was an allegation, it apparently will look bad enough to where she said, I'm getting out of here before anybody could do anything. And I believe that the pressure was on her to resign or be terminated. And so she took the normal route of many city employees who are faced with a situation of termination or a golden parachute, if you will. And so I look like I'm crazy because when I initially put the situation out, well, I had known of some history of Barbara Garcia at the Department of Public Health. And I know this because of there's a group, and well, it's KPFA, I guess, is with it, the Labor Video Project. It was established in like 1983, I believe, from what I've read. I've only known about it for a year. And they have been following labor issues, of workers, what they've gone through for quite some time. These people here are with Local 1021, SEIU. For years, they have been trying to get Barbara Garcia out of Department of Public Health. I am going to play 3.5 minutes of this video, and they're being jubilant but cautious, not knowing what to make of this abrupt resignation of Barbara Garcia. The woman on the far right, in the black leather, looked like leather jacket, she will be speaking and telling a little bit. But the force behind a lot of this is the one in the purple. And what's going on here is her name is Brenda Barrows. And I like her style. But let me play this video, and I'll probably cut in a little bit, but let's see what happens. Again.
This is what solidarity looks like.
Okay, so today, this is Steve Zeltzer with KPFA Workweek Radio, and we just heard about the resignation of Barbara Garcia. She's the Director of Public Health, City and County of San Francisco, and I'm with Cheryl Thornton. Cheryl, welcome. What are the things that you take back now, or you believe now with the resignation, and what needs to be done?
Okay, so today we heard that Barbara Garcia, the Director of Public Health, has resigned effective immediately. I don't know what to make of that. There's been lots of issues in our department of systemic discrimination against workers. There's been discrimination against whistleblowers, people that live in the community, that are involved with the shipyards and the toxin, and the health department is over the Department of Environment. So, but we don't know what to make of this. We're going to have to advocate about who should be our next leader, because we're just concerned that the person that may come in office may be someone who further oppresses the marginalized in San Francisco.
And was Barbara Garcia aware of what was going on here at the Department of Public Health, the systemic racism, retaliation, and discrimination?
Oh, for sure. I met with Barbara in 2012.
Did you hear that? Well, this is 2018. So apparently, they've been at this for quite some time, trying to make her first aware and getting Barbara Garcia to act on their concerns. Well, 6 years later.
Myself and a group of us to talk about the discrimination. She said she was going to look into it, and I guess she did look into it, but what happened is the assaults on black workers increased from that point forward. In 2018, we had a rally on March 27th to protest the removal of me, which was illegal. And that day on tape, we have a tape where Barbara Garcia is on record saying there's a process to handle personnel issues, but I'm here to tell you I had no due process. There was no process for me.
Now, let me tell you a little something that I learned about this Cheryl Thornton. She sued the city of San Francisco for the way they treated her as a black woman, and she won. After she got reinstated, they did the same thing to her again. Now, if you're going to get sued, no one's punished, the city pays up, and then you're going to go and do the same thing again to the same individual? That's what happened to Cheryl Thornton.
And the retaliation of workers, it seems that it's also going on with Mickey Callahan, with the head of the Human Resource Department. Is she involved?
Well, yeah, we believe so. We've asked Mickey Callahan several times for data to prove our suspicions, but yet, as of today, we have received only incomplete data, and so we really can't say without a doubt that.
Wait a minute. Now, Cheryl Thornton, hon, I love you, but I can say with no doubt that Mickey Callahan, is a willing participant. For quite some time, let's say 2013, I became aware of something. And in 2014, I tried to raise Cain about it. I may be off on my years, but here's the deal. In 1964, the San Francisco Human Rights Commission was formed for the express reason to help fight discrimination against black San Franciscans at the time. Well, fast forward almost 50 years to 2012, it was being run by a white transgender woman by the name of Teresa Sparks, which was the Human Rights Commission's executive director. This woman was sued by a black staffer along with the city and this Mickey Callahan, who this Cheryl Thornton is not too sure about systemic racism. What was the charge? This black man proved that Teresa Sparks discriminated against him because he happened to be a black heterosexual male. The city settled the suit for $210,000. And guess whose name was also part of the suit? Mickey Callahan. San Francisco has had, on average, 400 lawsuits per year against it. And it's paying out millions of dollars. Now, a lot of these are labor related, and a lot of them are labor treatment related. But it is not easy for an individual to search this out. You do need the Department of Human Resources help. And so where Mickey Callahan's not coming forward, they do have the issues because they got all the data and they're just not willing to cough it up to admit how racist San Francisco has been against black workers.
That there's a systemic problem, but from the data we see, there is a systemic problem. And we're not just talking about the health department, we're talking about citywide.
And you
Absolutely. This is just the health department, but I can tell you that it's in everything. Juvenile hall, they have racism running up and down it. I can't tell you how bad it is. Black workers, the way they're being treated, it's a shame. And I even heard that this is going on with the, what do you call those? They're not meter maids. What do you call them? Well, you know what I'm talking about. Police department, of course, has it. You know, there's all kind of city departments, you know, that have this. And
you're going to have a hearing on September the 19th. You're calling on all city workers to come to that hearing on the 19th to speak out and talk about what's going on?
Yes, so through our advocacy, we have secured public hearings that are going to happen September 19th at the Board of Supervisors chambers through the Committee of Oversight, and I forget the committee's name, but anyway. So we've secured those hearings. We're here today at the DCCC because we're going to comment some of the city workers. We're going to make a public comment asking the DCCC to support black workers on the systemic employment, the systemic racism that continues to persist in the city departments.
good luck.
So we're asking for public support on this issue.
So the removal or the resignation of Director Garcia, Barbara Garcia, doesn't change the situation here?
No, because there's been a long culture and history of this happening in our department. So just because you remove the head doesn't mean that it's resolved. We still have a lot of work to do.
Ain't that the truth? Now, as I have basically been saying for quite some time, San Francisco City Hall is racist against black employees, against, the black community. And San Francisco itself is growing in its racism, in my opinion. based on the fact that I've been here since 1960 and I have observed many things that point to racism. But let me point out a few things. Why people are so, Alan, you crazy. San Francisco's not racist. San Francisco's head superintendent of public schools is a black man. San Francisco's police chief is a black man. San Francisco's mayor, black woman. Head president of the board of supervisors, another black person. Now, there are other city department heads who are black. And you look at them all and you think, well, how can San Francisco be racist if some of the top positions in city government, including our city administrator, all these are black people? Well, okay, if you say so. But I'm saying that there is a racist spirit that is running through the halls of City Hall, and it is affecting an awful lot of the decisions that occur or get out into the communities. Now, when I say that San Francisco is racist and increasing, I'm telling you, it is not an easy thing to prove when you have so many blacks in prominent positions in San Francisco. And I'm saying that don't be fooled. San Francisco does not treat its city workers who happen to be black with respect. And I have known for quite some time that this is just par for the course. No one is doing anything about it. I have personally brought my concerns to people in city government, mainly the mayor and the board of supervisors, and even the Human Rights Commission. And why is it that this union, SEIU, Local 1021, is doing all of this protesting of treatment against blacks? Don't these people know that the San Francisco Human Rights Commission was formed to protect black workers in San Francisco? That's it, was its main job. And so why aren't they going to them? Because they know, as I know, you're wasting your time. I spent a few months on the San Francisco Human Rights Commission. My first week on as a committee advisory panelist member, there was a retreat. And the president of the commission, a black woman, said to me, well, the 18 that's around the table, do not embarrass the mayor. Well, the mayor at the time was Ed Lee. Well, I knew it wasn't going to end well for me when she said that. I mean, I was not going to be on that commission long. But the fact that it took just 4 months, keep in mind, my work in the community got me voted on to this commission committee, Human Rights Commission committee. But once I got on there, new guy on the block, I was told something by two members. One said that there was a 2009 blackout migration report commissioned by former Mayor Gavin Newsom. He was trying to figure out, well, why are a bunch of blacks leaving the city? And how can we retain them? Well, these two committee members, my colleagues, told me that the document that was submitted was doctored by Gavin Newsom to where there was a fraudulent document. And so when they told me this, and then they still wanted to use it in our committee assignment for the year, I'm not going to use a fraudulent document to base my work on for this whole year of 2014. Well, it came to be there was a tussle and I lost. And kicked off the committee 4 months into it. Now, I don't understand why some people would expect for you to just go along with the program even when you know some shenanigans are going on. But that's basically how city government works in San Francisco. And if black people do not do what Cheryl Thornton and Brenda Barrows at the SEIU Local 1021 are doing, I'm going to tell you, people, we in trouble. We black people have got to stand up and say, oh no, this is not happening. Enough's enough. That was the title of their March rally on City Hall. I think it was March, I don't remember, March or June. But it was titled Enough's Enough. Now, the fact that they had this gathering and they discussed the resignation of Barbara Garcia, they were thinking, hey, our work, we got some results from our work. That didn't happen. Barbara Garcia got greedy. And when she got greedy, this, dare I say, lesbian had a wife who had a contract with the city. And someone blew the whistle on the fact that a city contract went to a company or nonprofit that the wife of this Barbara Garcia was, you know, a vice president of or some high executive. Well, then it didn't look good. So when it came to London Breed said, oh, I got to stay out of this. They were chummy, meaning if it had not been for Barbara Garcia's greed, and San Francisco blacks would still be receiving the lukewarm treatment by a director of Department of Public Health on racial issues, because that's the only thing that forced her to resign. Because the 6 years of the 1021 fighting to get her removed, that didn't do it. And so that's a red flag. It's a red flag because when you have so many city workers, I think there's 23,000 San Francisco employees, and you have this union fighting for better treatment in not just the Department of Public Health where these two women work, but in other areas of the city. You have to think, well, wait a minute. What is it going to take? San Francisco's so chummy with its higher ups. Unless you kill unless you kill somebody, you're not going to be removed from your position. Might I say, the Teresa Sparks incident, not only was she not disciplined, right after they settled the lawsuit, this white woman got an evaluation from the Human Rights Commission. She passed with flying colors. She stayed on the job 3 years longer. And then the late Mayor Ed Lee promoted her and gave her another position, a newly position that he created. Get this, the woman who discriminated against a black man kept her job at $180,000 a year for 3 years afterwards. Then she got another $180,000 a year position. Now, here's the point. She was making $180,000 a year, and she had roughly 17 people under her. In this new position of $180,000 a year, she had one person under her. A year later, she retired at age 69. Give me a break. She was ready to retire when she committed this egregious act of discrimination against a black man, black staffer, and yet she got 4 more years out of it and retirement. That's the way San Francisco treats people who they like, even though what they do is not right. Now, we have this Barbara Garcia, able to retire at age 63 with a tremendous pension. It doesn't make sense. Why? Because who is not able to retire? The black people are not able to retire their fight for equality and justice in San Francisco employment. Wherein everybody who gets caught doing something wrong is able to sell off into the city retirement and get tons of money. Not the average city black worker. Something needs to change. And I say, though people think I'm crazy for saying that San Francisco is racist and increasingly racist, I'm saying that wake up, because something will change. And I see it coming sooner rather than later. Until next time, God bless.